Okay, we are live on the YouTubes. There we go. All right, here we go. Getting started. Hello, fellow Galactic listeners. I'm Todd Hoffman, and this is WSTR Galactic Public Access, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 409. We hope you're doing well and everything going on. We want to continue to be a platform that promotes positivity, life, little Star Wars along the way. I hope we throw in a little hope there and a little Star Wars along the way. Today, we're returning to our Rishi species as we continue to look at the Cantina creatures in A New Hope. First up, we've done quite a bit, but now we are moving towards looking at the Ithorian. The Momaw Nadan rolls right off the tongue. The Hammerhead. That's what he was called on set. That's what he was called in the action figures for Kenner. And so most people know him as the Hammerhead. So we will be talking about them today. Miss Heather Allred and Miss Carla Jackalone have the day off. I'm doing this differently. I'm recording in the morning. So, but they have the pod off, and we wish them well, and we'll be back shortly, full strength. Let me tease the news. So we have 4 news items to cover today. That is Major Award, Jedi Temple for free. And I'll buy that for $1. So get out your decoder rings, get out your data pads, and get ready for some news in a little bit. But without any further ado, let us get into our main topic. All right. I was going to save this for a little bit later, but I'm just going right off the bat. So, um, well, let me just first preface. Okay, Ithorians are pretty prevalent in the Star Wars universe, and most famously, you know them as the Hammerheads. So this is why you get to get on the live stream, because I'm showing the original Kenner action figure that you got to play with as a kid, and you got to reenact the cantina scene. We also have a more kind of newer version. Now, this one again, the power of the Force. This Ithorian, he's been doing legs, he's been doing arms, he's got a huge gun, which is kind of crazy. The blaster's ginormous, and then this is the Ithorian. So it's kind of like they were both hanging out, and one took some fun. I don't know what roids would be in Star Wars, but definitely the power of the Force was bulky and in charge. So the reason I think, again, for a lot of what we see in today's kind of action figure market is, we get like the 14 Lukes and the 14 Hans and the 12 Leias and all that stuff. And again, hero characters are great. Don't get me wrong. But it's really these guys. Like, we need a lot more of the ancillary cantina people. Like, did they make any cantina creatures from Maz's castle? No. When The Force Awakens came out, they actually did. I think his name was like the Constable or something like that from The Force Awakens. And they cut him from, or he's seen in the movie in Jakku, but he's barely there. And so the alien that they do is not even really featured in the film. And it's like, okay, this Hammerhead probably had 5 seconds of screen time, and they literally like, dude, we're gonna put this. And again, it's great. I mean, it's a great design, it looks awesome, and they're like, we're gonna make an action figure of it. And so my biggest thing is, like, I feel like, the kids these days, they got gypped, because if you had, Maz's cast, let's just talk Force Awakens, or let's talk new trilogy. You have Maz's castle that has a bunch of aliens in it. You have Last Jedi, Canto Bight. As much as people hate that scene, there's a ton of cool aliens in there. And then the Rise of Skywalker, you have the bar scene with John Williams. I mean, where's our John Williams action figure? Come on, people. But there's a ton of different cool aliens in there, and it's like, okay, what are we doing? What's going on? So anyways, that's my little rant. I feel like you would know more about the characters if the kids and adults, I guess, would be getting more of these ancillary characters that are not seen on screen. I mean, hero killers are great. They need to be like, again, if you're looking at a case of figs, you want the characters to have a little bit more. But man, you throw in a couple of aliens, it just not only does it diversify your action figure collection, but if you're in kind of the I want to play with these kids kind of phase, I mean, this stuff is just it's priceless. I mean, it's just and again, like when I have an emotional connection to this because it's like this is what I did when I was 6 and playing with these in my sandbox, because that was Tatooine sandbox, you know what I'm saying? So let's learn a little bit about our friendly Ithorian, referred as Hammerheads or Leathernecks. Again, kind of appropriate. Shark Week just finished, and thought it would be a good idea to go over the Hammerhead. I'm a big fan of Shark Week, and if you guys watched it, awesome. The thing that I like to do is basically just watch a couple during Shark Week, and then I got all of them like taped. I got them all recorded, and yeah, I can't wait. So, anyways, okay. So they are a sentient species. So again, just to be clear, when we're looking at aliens and creatures, so you have the kind of creature feature, and then we have this Rishi species segment that we do. Sentient means like they can think and speak. They're semi-sentient, or that could be like rancor or something like that. That can have some, or like a lizard monkey, Kowakian lizard monkey, like Salacious B. Crumb. He is semi-sentient, meaning like does have some speak, but is more animalistic. And obviously, non-sentient are all a creature. So sentient, the Ithorians can't speak, and they come from the planet Ithor, and they have two mouths on the opposite sides of their neck, giving them a deep rumbling voice. Most Ithorians are peaceful and revered by nature. So they're kind of like nature. They love, and it's funny. Pacifism was so strong that they ex- exiled violent individuals. Notable Ithorians are we got Doc Ondar, which is from Boba Fett. He's the mayor. Oh no, is Doc Andor? Hold on, he says a collector on Batu. I gotta click on this. I don't know who this guy is. Let me see. Oh, he's okay. So they're saying this is the Disney. Jeez. Okay, Disney. Thanks. Yeah. So this is at Galaxy's Edge. Is Don the Doc Ondor, and then obviously uh Momaw Nadan is his name, and he's an Ithorian guardian. He's a gardener, and he's exiled from his home world. So we'll talk about him in just a little bit. Um, again, they they have their appearance of the Hammerhead. They live in forests and jungles. That's what Thor is mostly made up of. So they have two mouths on their side, and then four throats. Okay, they're kind of like got a little whale thing going on here. So it basically makes them speak in stereo, which is kind of cool. And they have two stomachs, so kind of a cow. Cow had four, but whatever. Um, so interesting enough, which is very cool. And again, why you gotta shout out to the Gendy Kartakovsky cartoons. For a long time, the Thorians they had the side the mouths on the side. You can see that in A New Hope, and then when they were portrayed, that's what they had. But in Gendy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars, there's a Thorian Jedi, and he has a little device, and the device allows him to speak basic. So instead of hearing all the rumbling, you have this kind of cool voice thing. It becomes canon, if you will, when in Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett, the Ithorian mare has this collar on it, which is basically a speaking device, which is kind of on the back of his head that allows them to speak kind of a basic for other people to hear. Again, like I said, peaceful, revered in nature. But the strong ones, the ones that are not peaceful, get kind of exiled, I guess. And again, majority of the planet is covered with what they refer to the mother jungle, a vast rainforest that Ithorians considered sacred, forbidding anyone setting foot within. Wow. Okay, so they really don't even go in the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. They are deeply spiritual. They do a lot of handcrafting of objects and stuff like that. And Ithorian weather chimes were handcrafted and prayed to the fertile soil for good weather for Guardian. Okay, so obviously, there is, they say, at least one settlement on the planet Takabo, which is fine, known as Hammertown. I want to go to Hammertown. Okay. They could even be found in places completely devoid of vegetation. Momaw Nadan's hidden garden on Tatooine. What? He had his own little garden. Yeah. So he was exiled on his homeworld for revealing the agricultural secrets of his species to the Galactic Empire. Dude, what are you doing, bro? Giving away secrets. He would later live on the planet Tatooine and would often be seen in Chalam's spaceport cantina in the city of Mos Eisley. Okay, Mach Shaiz is the male from the Book of Boba Fett in the Mare of Mos Espa. And then obviously Doc Andar is a collector. He's over 240 years old. Most famous residents of the Black Spire Outpost. Brother. Then we have, again, the Jedi Order. We have Jedi Initiate Biff. BYPH, I guess. Biff. And then Jedi Knight Miki Sutamani. And Jedi, okay, so Jedi, this is good. Ronan Kororab, which is a play on Rob something. It's probably some producer, maybe even Rob Coleman, but I don't know. Ronan Kororab. So that's the Jedi featured in Attack of the or the Clone Wars. We see, again, series like Rebels and Bad Batch, you get to see them in Rebels, which is great, and in Bad Batch, which is super, super fun. So lots of appearances. Let's see here. They're featured in the High Republic, Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures, more High Republic stuff. High Republic. Couple comics like Darth Maul, Jango Fett, the hyperspace stories. Okay, in the Clone Wars, they're featured quite a bit throughout the season. Again, and in Bad Batch was just great. Yeah, they're in Star Wars Rebels. They are everywhere in the Star Wars universe. So they become a really kind of cool background character. Yeah, so they are prevalent in the Star Wars universe. So let's look at Momaw Nadan. Let's talk about this guy. All right, so this is our Momaw Nadan Hammerhead. Okay, so we know that he was exiled because he gave away the secrets. Bad. So during the Galactic Civil War, he sympathized with the Alliance to restore the Republic. Okay, so now he's changing sides here. Who opposed the Empire and would hide rebel operatives in his garden. However, a report of the rebellion was rumored. Nadan was present in Chalman Spaceport Cantina when Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi and the local farm boy Luke Skywalker were searching for a pilot. So we get to see him. He's one of the first Cantina creatures that we do see. I think he's the second shot of the Cantina, which is kind of cool. All right, so Momaw Nadan first appeared in the 1977 Star Wars A New Hope, but went unnamed until identified as Hammerhead for his Kenner product action figures. And again, most of the Kenner action figures that were produced in the 80s had their onset name as the name of the action figure. So, Walrus Man and Hammerhead. Greedo was actually named, even though he's Rodidian. Greedo was actually named, but a lot of them just had really kind of who they were or what they were called on set, which is kind of interesting. So, again, gets the Hammerhead name for the action figure. He received his name and backstory in Galaxy Guide 1, A New Hope, a 1989 Star Wars Legends source book by Grant Butcher and for the Star Wars role-playing game. Again, West End Games, I mean, they name so many different stuff. I know there's an episode brewing there where we got to talk about that a little bit more, it's just crazy. I mean, I don't know. This other guy, he looks a little, it's the same guy, but he looks a little bulky, but I love his blaster. Okay. So, his name and portions of a backstory can be affirmed in canon by the reference book Ultimate Star Wars, which was released in 2015. The character was portrayed by John Berg and Phil Tippett. If I'm pretty accurate, I think Hammerhead is a puppet. I think they did just his face and then the top of his torso, and then the rest of them is made up, if you will. I mean, later they basically have a 3-toe, 1 toe in the back kind of format. Very, again, tree-like like legs, basically. So that's our boy Momaw Nadan. Let's talk about their language. Ithorians, okay. This is in I can't speak the blasted Ithorian. Doc Undar says there's no need for threats, Sergeant, our first order stormtrooper sergeant, and Tohaga interrogating Doc Undar. Oh boy. Also, okay, so Ithorians, also known as Ithorian, was a language spoken by the Ithorian species of the planet Ithor. Makes sense. Following tracking. It's a unique stereophonic language with many other species found it beautiful. Some Ithorians wore translator collars to convert the language into galactic basic standard. Known words. Let me see if I can butcher these. Harum Agatha, lone mouths, a nickname given by Ithorians to their single mouth Otegan cousins. Oh man, I gotta click on that. Let's see what an Otegan is. Okay. So Otagans, okay, they got a little hair. They got a little Otagans are seen more in the new trilogy than the newer trilogy. They basically have like hair. There's one that's featured that has kind of like a goatee looking one and a little hair on his eyebrow. So that is not really a Hammerhead or a Thorian. It's a Tegan. Of course, why would we have anything less? Because we need diversification in species, but that's kind of cool. And then let's see what the other word they have here in Kawaga Thu, a technique consisting of shouting with both mouths simultaneously. Well, there you go. That is pretty cool. And then let's talk a little bit about the planet Ithor. just so we get a kind of a full round, round look at this mid-rim planet, and it's again held mostly with Ithorian species, jungle. It is okay, so here we go. This is where the Tegans come from. So the Ithor planet was of the Atega system, located in the New Territories portion of the galaxy's mid-rim territories, situated in grid square M6 of the standard galactic grid. The expansive jungle of the Ithor was considered to be sacred, and hunting there was highly illegal. Their flora included dozen noral trees, the Carvinus Janinu trees, and a variety of green, rusted hued bushes and carpets of blue and pink edible fungi. Their fauna included rare and deadly malsums and tasquans. I love Star Wars. The Thorians worshipped the mother jungle, long ago vowed to keep their homewood pristine. They moved their herds into the great floating cities in the sky of Ithor. Dude, where's our visual dictionary on Ithor, and why is this not being featured in animation or the new shows? That sounds very Avatar. Let's just put it that way. So we have floating cities in the sky, and eventually out into space. The planet was the center of the Triennial Herd Meet, a meeting that was attended by every Ithorian herd ship. Okay. At some point, the Galactic Republic Navy participated in a battle on the planet against vicious bands of pirates and are fighting against Jedi Master Ori Morm. Following Morm's sacrifice, which delayed the attack of the pirates, a Republic Navy warship arrived to take the criminals in custody. Thank you, Galactic Republic Navy. The Ithorian Joe left the Ithori settled the planet Lothal, where he operated a cantina known as Old Joe's Pit Stop. Ooh, I like that. At some point, the Ithorian rebel sympathizer named Momaw Nadan was forced to reveal secrets of the Ithorian architectural technology to the Galactic Empire to save his homeworld from destruction. In 5 ABY, so after the Battle of Yavin, a new Republic CR-90 Corvette Starfall on a diplomatic mission to recruit Ithor to Nascent galactic government led by Senator Theodore M. Sawa was boarded by the Idali Makakavani Super Star Destroyer Annihilator. That is like a mouthful of information there, Wikipedia. Thank you so much. Again, Ithor, this is cool about Star Wars is, just kind of, this one's pretty straightforward. It's planet Ithor, the homeworld's Ithorian species, and they speak Ithorese. So it's all kind of right there for the Hammerhead. Again, very cool look. I really do enjoy what the Hammerhead represents as far as just kind of peace and guarding and nature. And I like the kind of mother jungle background. But again, like if this guy is peaceful, then why is he carrying, like, look at this blaster, dude. This blaster is just ginormous. But anyways, there you have it. The Rishi species, look at the Hammerhead. We really, he is one of the coolest looking characters, I think, in the Star Wars universe. And again, we get that right out of the cantina in 1977. And like I said before, he is just, the Thorians are featured quite heavily in animation, and just really a cool looking kind of, if you will, background character, which is super, super, super cool. So I think again, they're I guess here's a fun question. Like, if you could create a new Ithorian character for Star Wars, what would their backstory be? So, as we know, our good friend Momaw Nadan, he was a good guy, but then the Empire roughed him up, and he had to sell his secrets to the Empire. So, if you had a Ithorian character for Star Wars, what would the backstory be? So, if you're an 80s kid, the Hammerhead, the original one, is featured in E.T. It's one of the characters that Elliot uses to explain or talk about Star Wars for ET, which is, which is pretty cool. I kind of like because ETs are similar in nature with, and they're technically canon in Star Wars. That maybe they have like maybe a buddy cop movie ran with a Thorian and an ET. Wouldn't that be great? You got a long neck and a leather neck together. I think that was super fun. I kind of like the idea too, which would be kind of cool, is like somebody that is peaceful. We saw this kind of play out a little bit, maybe in Andor, where like you're in agricultural world, and they got their own little thing, and they got their own little, you know, garden, and they got their own little farm, and they're producing, fruits and vegetables and all the things for like a local settlement. And the Empire comes in and roughs it up, and then this person, the Ithorian, has to like become kind of defend the homeland against the Empire. It would be kind of a cool little thing. I think that would be cool. um it would be cool. um okay, what about uh ideal storyline for Star Wars spin-off focused entirely on Ithorians? First of all, you would have to have the galactic translator thing, because it would be it's kind of like the holiday special where you just have the Wookiees just talking for a couple minutes, and there's no subtitles, and they're just talking. It's like, oh, okay, you want some of that because that is the authentic language. You want that kind of deep rumbling language, would be cool. But obviously, if it's going to be a TV show for any kind of experience, expended time, you got to have a translator, unless you want to do subtitles, which is also, could work, but you can't do that in a long form. But yeah, it would be really cool to see something around that. Again, if we're just kind of following the bouncy ball, you focus on Ithor first, kind of build that, and then maybe you got the dreamer, kind of like a Luke Skywalker thing, where it's like, yeah, I just want to get off planet and see the world. And then the world, that those kind of adventures, you could see the planets, and maybe having that person come back because the Empire's threatening Ethor or something like that would also be cool. So you have a little exploration, kind of fish out of water experience, and then going back to the home world to help them out. I mean, that's what's so cool, like kind of like Skeleton Crew, where they're like, dude, this planet is so boring. I just got to get off planet. And when they get off planet, they find out that their home world is legit. Like there's something, there's treasure there and stuff like that, which is kind of a cool concept, which I would say would be cool. Again, we understand like the sacredness and the connection to nature for Ithor. So again, not to get too Avatar, but if you have Empire kind of coming in and establishing the Imperial outpost, and you have the natives, which are Thor, you could kind of do the Avatar angle. Again, that's already kind of done. So I kind of like the idea of something more like we follow this person off world, and then he comes back, and we get to explore his home world and defend it. So, anyways, very cool. I mean, those are great ideas. What are your ideas about Ithorians? Let us know. Email us at WSTR podcast@gmail.com. Yeah, you could drop us email there. And we would actually, you can use mailbox@wstrmedia.com. Probably the easiest one to get to us. So all right, that's it for the Thorians, which is great. Really cool species. Again, super super cool look. I just really enjoy this design. It's one of the coolest designs, I think, in Star Wars. Just a really fun. I mean, again, in 1977, it's more of a throwaway, but they really did inspire a lot and are featured a lot in the Star Wars universe, which is great. Okay, let us move on to news of the week. All right, we've been a little sidelined for a little bit here, so we got some catching up to do. I do want to bring up our first news item is Star Wars Andor gets nominated for 14 Emmy Awards. Okay, so this came out July 15th. The nod is one of 14 nominations today by the Television Academy, securing Andor's place among this year's greatest series for its immense storytelling. Here. Okay, so here we go. Andor, outstanding drama series. Check. Okay. Outstanding production design for a narrative, period, or fantasy program, 1 hour or more. That's a great title. Outstanding cinematography for a series, 1 hour. They're using Harvest for that one. Outstanding fantasy sci-fi costumes. Again, Harvest for that one. They like Harvest. Outstanding directing for a drama series. Andor, Who Are You? Directed by Janice Metz. Outstanding picture editing for a drama series. Andor, Who Are You? Jan Miles. Okay. Outstanding music composition for a series. Original dramatic score. Brandon Roberts. Original music and lyrics. Andor, Who Are You? We Are Gore. Oh, dude, 100%. That is great. Outstanding guest actor. Andor, I Have Friends Everywhere. Forrest Whitaker, our good friend Saw Gerrera. You must feel the rebellion. Outstanding character voice-over performance. Andor, who else knows? Alan Tudyk. Outstanding sound editing for a comedy or drama series. Who Are You Again? All the sound area editors and Foley artists are named there. Outstanding sound mixing for a comedy or drama. Who Are You? Wow. Outstanding special visual effects in a season or a movie. Andor, Disney. Dude, special effects are dope. Outstanding writing for a drama series. Andor, Welcome to the Rebellion. Dan Gilroy, very fun. The Acolyte is also named for outstanding sound editing for a comedy or drama series, Acolyte the Night. Music by John Williams, outstanding sound editing for nonfiction and reality. Oh, music by John Williams. Interesting. Outstanding sound music for nonfiction program, music by John Williams. Oh, is this I wonder if this is the documentary. Maybe. Music by John Williams? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Maybe that is. I don't know. Here's the thing. Awesome 14 Emmy nominations is very, very cool. Definitely recognized outside, obviously, of the Star Wars stratosphere. But where's Guinevere? Where is, where's Cassian? Where's Diego Luna? Like, where are our actors that really just like nailed this series that made it so awesome in season 2? I definitely snubs, especially Guinevere of all our Mon Mothma. I just feel like she was so pivotal. And again, like that wasn't on my bingo card. Like, hey, I need to know the backstory of Mon Mothma and how pivotal she was in the Star Wars Rebellion. But whew, so good. Okay, so that was a little catch up. So last weekend, San Diego Comic-Con kicked off, and the maker, George Lucas, tells Comic-Con crowd his new Amazon museum in LA will be a temple of the people's arts. So finally came to stage at Comic-Con. Again, another kind of bingo card. You had like Queen Latifah moderating. You had Doug Chang, You had George Lucas, and who's the other guy that they had there? Del Toro? No, not Del. Yeah, Del Toro. Yeah. Okay, so um, they had like a little introduction video with narrated by Samuel L. Jackson, but Lucas focused on comic art and populist painter are just as central to the aims. He's one of the main collectors of paintings of Norman Rockwell and Maxwell Parrish and Hobson that have made specially of collecting the work of Black painters, including Norman Lewis and Kara Walker. The panel discussion included Del Toro and production designer Doug Chang, who worked on the Star Wars film in the 90s. Basically, Queen Latifah said, "Are you all pumped for the museum now or what?" She shouted at the crowd at the end, which is legit. Yeah, so there's definitely, so he owns first drawings of Flash Gordon, original panels of Peanuts comic strips, early drawings of Iron Man and Black Panther, original artwork of political cartoons. He would later move to the paintings and art for films after Star Wars money began to pour in. So he says, "What am I going to do with it all?" Lucas said, "I refuse to sell it. Could never do that." Yeah, so he's like, now that the museum exists, a lot of it may go there. So it's also saying Del Toro has a pretty massive pop culture artifact museum board member said the Los Angeles fires earlier this year came frighteningly close to the collection he keeps at home. So maybe he's saying maybe it should go to the museum. He said comics were the first one-punch Nazis before movies. So he's saying like comics and art have a way of, kind of dissecting political things as well. Again, there was over the counts were 6,000 plus in Hall H, which is crazy. The Lucas Museum 11-acre campus sits across and sits right next to Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, near several other major museums in the University of Southern California. The exact date of the opening hasn't been announced, but it is progressing very, very well. Again, gotta get my soapbox for just a half a second. This was going to be my retirement gig. It was supposed to be originally planned in Chicago. It was there, and it got stuck in Chicago Democratic bureaucracy, friends of the park saying, "It's not green enough. We don't have enough green." And it's like, look, he was going to tear down Old McCormick, build a huge space, all parking, all that stuff would be underground. It would be a bunch of green stuff. I don't know. Very political. And he lives in Chicago, and now the museum is in LA. So super, super sad that it's not there. But hey, hopefully, I would love to visit it. It would be awesome to go visit that for sure. Okay. Hey, everybody wants free Legos. So you want a free Lego set? Here's how to get your free exclusive set for a limited time. This was published by masslive.com on July 30th. Okay. Attention, Lego Star Wars collectors. There's a limited time gift with purchase that's worth jumping on. Right now, Lego is giving away the free Camino training facility valued at $30 if you purchase the new exclusive Jango Fett's Fire Spray class starship valued at 300 big ones. That's right. You can get a free Camino training facility set, which is exclusive, completely free when you purchase Jango Fett's Fire Spray class starship. Very, very cool. Okay. It's ending on August 2nd. So by the time you hear this recording, I apologize. You would not receive it. But you're here live in the live stream. You got one day to get this, brother. And yeah, it's pretty cool. The training set is 190 pieces. It was originally released as a May 4th promo. It features 3 clone cadet minifigures, a training platform, equipment rack, blaster tower, a sleek KE8 Enforcer Patroller Speeder, and printed Camino backdrop for extra display value. Okay, hold on. And it's not available for standalone purchase. The only way to get it is part of the special Lego program. What? The fire spray, on the other hand, is something that you can get. 2,970 pieces. It's one of Lego's biggest Star Wars releases of the year and must have for serious Star Wars collection. Okay, the offer is valid through August 2nd. Like I said, once you hear this recording, sorry, you missed it. But you still get your Django Fett spaceship. But if you're obviously on the live stream, got one day. There you go. All right. Next up, we have from the Hollywood Reporter. This is definitely pretty cool. Stormtrooper helmet from Star Wars: A New Hope sells for $256K at an auction. Other props from the movie included lightsabers wielded by Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Liam Neeson, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Ray Park. Darth Maul were also sold. Okay. A screen used Stormtrooper helmet from the classic was auctioned, held at San Diego Comic-Con on Sunday. The helmet was previously exhibited at the Ronald Reagan President Library in Semi Valley, California. Last year as part of an exhibit Defending America and the Galaxy, Star Wars, and SDI. Wow. To be featured in the scene, the Sand Trooper is said to be only one of 6 stunt helmets known to have survived and are accounted for in a private collection. Dope. The auction was part of the Echoes from the Galaxy, a Star Wars memorabilia exhibit auction, a 2-week event presented at Comic-Con. Was touted as having sold the world's largest collection of Star Wars artifacts. Okay, so here we go. Other items sold: original stunt lightsaber prop, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Qui-Gon Jinn, all episode 1. That was one lot. 38,000. Original hilt prop screen used Ray Park, 76 G's, baby. A screen match resistant pilot Red 4 helmet for Star Wars Force Awakens, 3,200. Okay. Original metal GLIE 44 blaster used by Oscar Isaac Poe Dameron, Force Awakens, 44,000. Original production made lightsaber for Luke Skywalker, played by Mark Hamill, from episode 6, Return of the Jedi, 25,000. Original prop, hand worn C-3PO, right hand worn Empire Strikes Back, 16,000. You got the hand of C-3PO. Holographic tumbler, assembled design by Bob Mackie, worn in the infamous 1978 Star Wars Holiday Special. Dude, that one right there, man. Wow, bro. Well, yeah. Nearly 300 props, production materials, and memorabilia assembled by collectors. Stan Sweet, Gus Lobez, Duncan Jenkins, Lisa Stevens, Vic Wirtz were offered up for reduction with intention of creating a permanent home for the Saga Museum of Star Wars memorabilia from portions of the proceeds. Dude, I think this is a bigger... Steve Stansweet has one of the biggest private collections. I've heard of this. I think they're trying to make it like a Star Wars museum, which would be amazing. Could you imagine doing a 1-2 punch of the Lucas Museum, and then the Saga Museum? Oh, sign me up. Maybe I'll work there when I retire. All right. Well, there you go. That's all the news of the week. And let us move into Cantina Chat. This is part of the show. We talk about everything geeky and weird going on in our lives. Yeah. What can I say? Carla and Heather did not write in. They've been very busy. A lot of life stuff going on. So, but I'm sure maybe a little geeky in there. Maybe. So for me, nothing really geeky, but starting work downtown. So now I get to do a little bit more podcasts and catch up on books and all that stuff. So that's been fun. Playing some serious Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4, which has been a lot of fun. Then there's even a little bit more geeky with that, is that so Tony partnered with Taco Bell. And so back in the day, back in the 80s, Tony was just starting on skateboarding and didn't have a lot of money. So he ate a lot of Taco Bell, which is kind of a cool kind of personal connection. And so he has this kind of Tony Hawk, I forget what they call it, something box or whatever. So if you order this box, you get free in-game stuff exclusive because you order this Taco Bell and it's like Taco Bell merch, which is kind of cool. So I've done it twice so far. And I got a Taco Bell skateboard and I got just had Taco Bell the other day and got 80s sweatpants Taco Bell, which is great. So we're having a lot of fun. Trent and I have a lot of fun playing Tony Hawk. That was my first introduction, Tony Hawk 3. That came out for the GameCube, and I played that to nauseum. And I love revisiting it, and it's just a lot of fun. It's super fun. Trent is in football, so we're kind of going full blown in football, which is cool. So not really geeky, but just it's time, and professional football is kicking off, which is always good. Um, but man, last week was rough. We had Malcolm, Theo from the Huxtables, we had Ozzy, and then we had my brother Hulk Hogan all pass away within a week's time. What a rough week. Hulk Hogan was instrumental into my love for professional wrestling. I can't without Hulk Hogan, there isn't pro wrestling as it is today. There's a lot of negative space out there. Again, he's not perfect. I don't expect him to be perfect, but yeah, he is just iconic. And yeah, just super sad to see him pass away. He was in a lot of pain. I know it was a heart thing, but he had multiple back surgery, neck surgeries, all that stuff. His body takes a toll when you're doing all that kind of wrestling and stuff like that. So yeah, just a bummer, man. Just a bummer. But hey, SummerSlam is coming up. So we got SummerSlam this weekend, which is super, super cool. So looking forward to that. But yeah, Hulk Hogan, brother, man. I just love wrestling, and I had to do a lot with just me hanging out on Saturday morning, watching the world of wrestling. And Hogan was larger than life. He was something. He was uh yeah, I think too, like what really cemented, I mean, you got really a 1-2 punch. Hulkamania, when he slams Andre the Giant, is probably one of the biggest moments in wrestling. That's WrestleMania 3. And then WrestleMania 18, Trent and I watched this the other day, The Rock versus Hogan. So Hogan at this point, a little past his prime, obviously, got a bunch of nicks, but when you look at that match, it's like if we're ranking stuff, it's S tier. The crowd, The Rock at this point in his career is over. Like he's just over with the crowd, but Hogan is just the crowd is just eating everything up, and the way that they perform that story, it's if you ever have to watch one match and you don't want to, like, I don't know about this professional wrestling, gotta watch WrestleMania 18, Rock versus Hollywood Hogan. So good. Again, one of the things that, like, Cena's doing this now, but Rock has done it a little bit, but Hogan was really the first. I mean, he is so over as Hulkamania. It is a thing, and that's how Monday Night War started, is that when Hogan switched from being the good guy to the bad guy and started the New World Order with Hall and Nash, amazing. I mean, simply when you look at the risk, and the risk and pay off so well. And again, it's like a three-way match, so it's like Sting, Macho Man, and Luger going after Scott and Hall, and there's a mysterious third partner so it's supposed to be a three-way. Luger gets counted out right away. He gets knocked out. So it's really 2-on-2. And then Hogan shows up, and you think he's going to save Macho Man, but then he does the infamous leg drop on Macho Man. And he is tied with Hall and Nash, the outsiders. And then in his little promo, he's like, this is the new world order. And man, 83 weeks of just them crushing it, Hogan being a bad guy. It's so good. And then really that propelled WWE to get their act together. And that's where you get the Attitude Era with Rock and Stone Cold. And without Hogan, that doesn't happen. Because at this point, WCW is not really even on the match. It's just Ted Turner, like professional wrestling, is like he was wasting so much money just to have the product on his TBS TNT. And yeah, anyways, I could go on. It's everything that Hulk Hogan did is just great for, so. All right. So there again, thanks again for listening to another episode of WSTR Galactic Public Access. You can find us on the socials. You know where to find us. The biggest one at WSTR Media. You can find us there. Comment, tweet, rate us on Apple Podcasts. If you give us a 5-star review, we will throw swag right in your face. Retweet or email us a screenshot of the rating, and we'll read it on the next podcast. We got a whole back catalog of episodes, podcast.wstrmedia.com. We got merch, store.wstrmedia.com. If you want to support us in a different way, patreon.com/wstrmedia. Thanks for hanging out in YouTube chat. Usually we go live Thursdays at 8:30. Special occasion, do it in the morning. Hey man, you never know what happens, but hey, it's always fun with a cup of coffee in the big time, man. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm feeling juiced to take on the day, talking about Ithorians, brother. Yeah. See, like this is like before he got into wrestling, and then this is like the wrestling version, brother of the Ithorians. So again, if you don't know what I'm referring to, that's why you got to watch a live stream, holding up some action figures, talking about wrestling, brother. So good. Anyways, you can email us, mailbox at WSTR Media, or leave us a voicemail, 630-557-WSTR. That's 630-557-9787. Next week, we're going to go across the universe as we look at Ant-Man, 10-year anniversary of that Marvel flick, and that you don't want to miss. I believe I will have a partner in crime for that time next week, so can't wait to talk about that film. It's already been 10 years. Whoa, MCU getting long in the tooth. I haven't seen Fantastic Four, haven't seen Superman, so I'm behind, but yeah, should be interesting to look back at Ant-Man. All right. There's only one way to end this. Now, this is podcasting. Hug your Ithorian and respect nature. Peace.